Hey y'all, in this week's A Moment in History, we are going to go over the Proverbs 31 woman, and I love this book. It is full of wisdom, but unfortunately it's all jumbled up. They talk about anger, instruction, wisdom, all in the same chapter, and it's there's no like sections to it. But the section that I really love is Proverbs 31:10 through 31. And all Christian women aspire to be the Proverbs 31 woman. And we're going to read from verse 10. And the title that is above verse 10, it says, "The woman who fears the Lord." So we're going to read it. Verse 10, "An excellent wife who can find? She is more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates." So there's a lot of characteristics in the Proverbs 31 woman. I'm just going to name the ones that I saw that stood out. She's hardworking. She's intelligent. For example, hardworking. She rises when it's still night, and she works with willing hands. She's intelligent. She considers a field and buys it. She's strong. She's generous. She's kind. She's clothes herself in dignity and strength. And she is not idle. When it talks about in verse 27, it talks about how she does not eat the bread of idleness. That means that she is a hard worker. She's constantly serving her family. She's not just sitting there. She maintains her household and makes sure they are clothed. And in verse 21, it says she's not afraid of snow because she clothes her household in scarlet. And I have a footnote. It says double thickness. So she's not worried about what's to come because she's already prepared for it. She is praised by her family, and she surpasses all women. And even her husband praises her, which is something that's awesome. Her physical beauty, this is something that is very important, especially when we are trying to become the Proverbs 31 woman. And we sometimes, or especially me, I focus more on physical beauty, or like I compare myself to others, and I know a lot of girls do that. Don't lie to yourself. A lot of girls compare each other, or like compare themselves to another person, and we think that we're not beautiful, but we are, because physical beauty is fleeting, but the Proverbs 31 woman finds her beauty in God. Her beauty comes from fearing God, and that is something that is to be praised. And that's why the title says a woman who fears the Lord is an excellent wife, because she will always learn the instruction, or she will always adhere to the instruction of God. And so since we are aspiring to be the Proverbs 31 woman, we need to ask God for a Proverbs 31 man. So it's in verse 22. Let's go there. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. And so this verse tells us a lot here, that he is known and he is respected, and he is a wise and great leader because he sits among the elders of the land, and he's known in the gates, so everyone knows him. And so we need to ask God for a husband like that, who is well respected, and that is who also fears the Lord. So thank y'all for joining me for this video. It's just a quick moment in history about the Proverbs 31 woman. So we need to try to be this woman in our singleness and when we are married. So thank y'all for joining me. I'll see y'all next week.